humans. Welcome to the wonderful world of Journeys and Joys podcast, where we're all about unlocking life's incredible magic. I'm your spirited host, Nyambudogori, and I'm delighted to be with you here. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much for always watching these weekly episodes that I usually post to help you embark on the journey of self-awareness and self-discovery to be able to develop yourself into becoming the best version of yourself. Because if you're not the best version of yourself, then you're just lying to yourself and you're just following other people, as I usually say that all the time. So thank you so much for taking your time, and this is a huge step if you're looking to discovering yourself and knowing who you are and developing yourself. This is a huge step that you have taken, and congratulations to you. And we are on this journey together. I'm not yet fully I'm not living fully the best version of myself, but we are moving step by step, every day, learning and relearning the patterns that we already know and the things that do not work for us. So if you're new here, welcome to Journeys and Joys podcast. This podcast is all about self-development, becoming the best version of yourself, and always being your first cheerleader and discovering yourself, right? So if you're new here, welcome to Journeys and Joys family. Like, share, and subscribe. And please share with anybody, your sisters, your parents, your moms, your aunties, anybody. Let me tell you guys, self-awareness and self-discovery is a topic that covers everybody. It's not like it's only for a certain age group or a certain people. No. Self-awareness is something that we should all embrace so that we can live fully and authentically as ourselves without putting any kind of limitations on ourselves. So if you're new here, subscribe. Welcome to this family. And if you're a member of the family, thank you so much, guys, for your continued support. Thank you so much for your continued support. I love you guys and I appreciate you guys so much. So on today's episode, I'm so delighted. First of all, last week's episode was bomb. I enjoyed, I loved it, and I hope you did as well. And on today's episode, guys, I want to welcome you. Today's episode is going to be a little personal, and it's going to be a little touchy to most of us, but I want us to embrace it with an open mind, with an open heart, so that we can be able to begin. If you've not begun yet, and if you've already begun, you can be able to continue with the journey authentically and continue with the journey of self-awareness with knowing that you are not alone. And I told you, when I went to that event of TMI, I told you everything that we go through, every experience that we are going through, somebody else is going through similar experiences. It's only that they handle the experiences differently, as we all handle different experiences differently. So don't think that you're alone. No. Everybody wants to do the self-awareness journey, and everybody wants to live an adventure after all. Because when you're old and fragile, what do you want to say? Do you want to be somebody who live their full lives authentically, happily, and they enjoy the journey? Or you just want to look back in regret and saying, I wish I did this, or I wish I did that, or I wish I didn't do this? No, this is the time to become to learn and relearn. And I told you, life is a learning and relearning process, and we have to do that every single day. Don't be too closed-minded that you just want to do things in a certain way, right? So this podcast is here to let you know that this adventure is for us all to take it and to partake it and to enjoy it as we move along. Okay, so welcome to Journeys and Joys podcast, and I'll go directly to today's episode. I'm just going to be very brief and very short, because it's something that it affects all of us, and it's about forgiveness. I talked about vulnerability on this podcast a number of times, and I've told you guys, if you want to embark on this journey of self-awareness and self-discovery, you have to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable with yourself, because only through vulnerability you can be able to dig deep into your own self, and it's only through vulnerability that you can be able to handle certain situations without your emotions coming on the way, right? So this episode, I want to talk about how vulnerability and forgiveness go hand in hand, and how it's going to help you be able to tackle this journey in a more authentic way. Because we might be saying we're on the on the self-awareness journey, and yet we don't want to tackle some things, or we don't want to talk about some experiences. But for you to be able to live authentically, you have to realize all the experiences that you have gone through, or you are yet to go through, and it's only through vulnerability you can do that, because we know there are some things we feel like, oh, they're too bad, we can't even mention them, or we can't even think about them. So for you to be able to do that, you have to be vulnerable, right? So when it comes to forgiveness, guys, you have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. And let me tell you guys, my younger sister, I saw her WhatsApp stories, and she said, oh, what you're telling us, forgive ourselves. It was some time back. She said, you're telling us to forgive ourselves. What have I done to myself? No, I won't say that is a stupid way of thinking, but it is. It is, especially if you're taking this journey of self-awareness and self-discovery, because you have to forgive yourself for so many things, because those are the things that are holding you back from living to your full potential, right? Because if you don't forgive yourself, who will? I'll forgive you for the things that you have done for me, but you yourself, you know yourself better, right? You have to forgive yourself from the past mistakes that you did. You failed your exams. Well and good, forgive yourself for that. You can't live in that for the rest of your life. You dropped out of school, forgive yourself. I've seen so many people holding themselves back because they said, oh, I dropped out of school, so I can't do nothing better. Who told you? Even let me tell you, statistics show that a huge number of people I'm not saying that school is not important. Of course school is important, just to take away the naivety that we usually have, but honestly, I didn't go to school to learn about this. No, but I'm here, and I'm not saying that I'm doing it badly. No. So don't say that because you didn't go to school or because you dropped out of school, you put limitations on yourself. You have to forgive yourself and tell yourself, I didn't know better that time, and now that I know better, I need to do better. For example, maybe you're in a relationship with a guy, and that guy has tortured you emotionally, that guy has abused you and has done so much bad things to you, but you keep on going back to him, and you keep on telling yourself, then eventually you first of all, you know how these processes work. You start complaining to your friends. They tell you don't go. Then you keep on going back to the same situation, expecting a different outcome. That is insanity, by the way. Expecting the same different outcome, but all that time you get the same outcome, or even worse. Then you develop shame. Then you develop guilt. Then you isolate yourself. Let me tell you, I was in this kind of situationship. I had a guy, I was going back, and it was not healthy for me. It was abusive. It was not healthy for me. I lowered my dignity. I lowered myself, but I kept on going back. I was insane. I would say that is insanity, like I just said. But I even isolated myself from the people who used to say, I know most of us have gone through this. Where you're just going back to the same thing, expecting. Then eventually you feel like, oh my God, everybody else was right apart from me, and I didn't see it. So what do? You beat yourself up, you lower your self-esteem, you have no dignity whatsoever after you realize that. And then what happens? You lose value for yourself. You find yourself you're not worthy, and that is wrong. That is when the forgiveness comes in. You guys, Jesus died on the cross for us. He forgave us all our sins. Whatever it is that happened in the past, that is in the past. That is not who you are at the present. Okay, so for you to embark on the journey of self-awareness and self-discovery, you have to forgive yourself, no matter what it was. You got a child when you didn't want to. Who said that it's wrong? Who said so? Maybe you did so many unspeakable things that you can't. You have to forgive yourself. You know all those unspeakable things. Nobody else does. Only you, because you've been with yourself every single day since you were born, right? So you have to forgive yourself. And don't say, let me tell you, everyone makes mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. And the mistakes don't define who you are. So remove the negative emotions, remove the negativity, remove the guilt, remove the shame. Begin a new day as a newborn, like as if you're born again, as if you're born again that day. Okay, as if you've never been on this earth before. So you have to begin another day like this, so that you can and let go of the past, because you're not going to live there. If you continue living in the past, let me tell you, I read some, if you know Dr. Gabor Mate, he said the diseases that eventually manifest in our body, in our physical body, are usually from our subconscious mind, where we always think about the pains. So we bottle up those emotions, we bottle up those pain, we bottle up those negative emotions, and eventually you develop a sickness. For example, stomach ulcers. You think those people who usually say, I have stomach ulcers, you know what happened to them? It's because they are always living in their past. In their mind, they're always thinking about their past, and eventually it manifests in their physical by becoming sick, by their body weakening, right? Who wants that? We all want to live a healthy body and a healthy lifestyle, unless otherwise, you know. So please, guys, forgive yourselves. You let the mistakes of the past stay there, and everybody has done those mistakes. And I've told you, I learned it from the TMI girls, that everybody is in that experience. And we look at these people on the internet and we think they're not going through the same experiences as we are, but they are. I can promise you they are. Let me tell you an example about myself. I've forgiven myself for so many things, but for me, I'm not that kind of person who holds so much things. I don't hold so much. I thank God for that. I'm not a holder. I don't know how that I came to be that person, but it's just who I am since I knew myself, you know. So before I started this self-awareness journey, I can tell you for sure, I am telling you from a perspective of a person who was abandoned by both her parents. My mom left me, my dad left me when I was a child, me alone, you know. I'm a second born of 4 siblings, and I was. Imagine if I held that victim mentality and said, oh, I was abandoned, oh, I was rejected. Of course, I battled with that. And it affected most areas of my life. It did affect most areas of my life, especially relationships, both platonic and both romantic. That affected me. I won't lie to you. And that being said, now you know I have a very big, I used to have a very big daddy wound and mommy wound, but right now I am not that person anymore. I've changed. I've decided I want healing. I've decided I want to develop myself and become the best version of myself. And I've already forgiven myself, because when you're abandoned as a child, you usually think the mistake was yours. And that is not the case. That was their mistake and that was their loss, not mine. As for me, I gained, because now, I'm sorry, that is a lie. I felt like I lost it for most part of my life, but at least now I can say I'm building myself, you know, and I've accepted. Imagine living in the past and saying, oh, and it's not about them. It's not about forgiving them. It's about forgiving myself. It's about forgiving myself so that I can be able to move to the next step of my life where I want to become better. You guys, okay? And also forgiving yourself. It's a continuous job, because you just can't wake up and say, okay, I forgive myself for putting myself in a situation where I didn't respect myself. Because you have been in those situations. You have been in a situation where you really disrespected yourself, and when you begin this journey, you ask yourself, oh my God, what was I thinking? But asking yourself what was you thinking doesn't mean that you shouldn't let go of that situation. That situation is what is holding you back. You know, that situation is what is holding you back from attracting better opportunities. That situation is what is holding you back from attracting better relationships. That situation is what is pulling you back from living authentically. Because imagine you're always thinking about the mistake that you did, maybe, for example, and it's, in fact, when you think about the mistakes that you did, it's only going to ruin your self-esteem and your self-image to yourself. So imagine because you're told you're not worth it. Now you believed it, and now you're trying to get out of that, and you can't forgive yourself. You keep on holding on to that and holding on to that. What is the end result? The end result definitely is you're going to be pulled down, or you're going to be left down there. So first of all, take the mistakes, feel them, feel all the pain, feel all the emotions, feel the disappointment, feel everything. If you feel it, you can be able to move past it, because if you feel it, then it means it won't have an effect on you, you know. And don't think just because you are not and let me tell you one thing I learned. Just because you are not abandoned as a child or rejected as a child doesn't mean that you can't have those issues with the people that like for example, you see Murugi, she said in the meeting that she had that issue of always trying to prove herself to her dad. I'm not saying that is wrong. Don't come at me saying, oh, Nyambu said this and this. No, it's not wrong to try and prove it, but you should ask yourself, to what extent are you doing it? You know, you can be doing it to make your parents proud, like we always do, like we always try to seek validation from our parents, but that doesn't mean that you drain yourself, your energy, or you drain yourself from living authentically or living yourself fully. So take yourself and tell your inner child, babe, yes, we were trying to do it, but it's draining us. Can we take another route? Can we take another strategy? Or can we just let it go altogether? You know, sometimes we can try so hard that it hurts us instead of building us, you know. So it's better to call yourself first, to call yourself for a meeting, call yourself to inner child. If you can afford therapy, go to therapy. If you can't afford therapy, please try and do some meditation or something just to be able to be with yourself, okay? But just try as much as you can to be able to forgive yourself, because if you don't forgive yourself, you disqualify yourself, you pull your self-esteem down, you just disrespect yourself in every aspect, in every angle, and those mistakes that you did do not define you. Look at me, you guys. Do I look like a girl who was once disrespecting herself because of a guy? Do I? No, right? So it is not written here. If I didn't tell you, you wouldn't have known. So if I didn't forgive myself, I would just repeat the same things to another person until eventually I completely lose it. You see? So nobody even knows. It is not written on your face. It is not written on your forehead here that, oh, you're this and this. Oh, you're this and this. Oh, you're this and this. No, it's not written all over your face. No, you're the only person who knows. Even forgiveness. Do I look like I have forgiven myself? Is it written here that I have forgiven myself? No. Who knows? Only me. And you know, because of how you are, how you become, and the person you're becoming. For me, I really love the person I'm becoming, because the person I'm becoming is somebody I hoped for when I was young. I wanted this version of myself. I wanted to be a girl who stood up for herself, because at a certain age I couldn't. You guys, if you don't know how to put yourself together, do it. And let me tell you guys, there's so many learning. If you have internet and you're under smartphone, there are so many learning platforms on the internet that you can use, and let me tell you, this YouTube, first of all, if you search whatever you're going through, you'll find so many people who are going through the same thing. TikTok is the same, you know. So it's not only you who's trying to better yourself, it's not only you who's trying to forgive herself, it's not only you. And the good thing about forgiving yourself is you find that after you've forgiven yourself, you find out everybody who did you wrong, they don't matter anymore. So it's automatically, you've already automatically forgiven them, and they're not holding you back anymore. If it's that school that you dropped out, if you forgive yourself, you find out it doesn't matter anymore. You find out so many people who dropped out of school and doing better. I'm not telling you to drop. You, Ebu, underline, I am not telling you to drop if you're still in school. I'm just trying to tell you that it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. You might be called names by your parents because you did it. You might be called names. Your peers might abandon you because they think you're no longer valuable. But that doesn't mean that you're not. Okay? And as you forgive yourself, you become even lighter in so many aspects of your life. So I'd really recommend forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself, vulnerability, and forgiving yourself it goes hand in hand with vulnerability, where you're vulnerable enough to realize their mistakes. Not like, you know, with social media, the memes all over, you're usually saying, oh, I've not done anything wrong to me. Like I said, my younger sister posted that. It doesn't mean that you've not insulted yourself. No, but you believed those things. You know, and you believed those things, and those things led you to many things that you are not proud of. So forgive yourself, call yourself, treat yourself humbly, treat yourself with compassion, treat yourself with kindness, so that you can be able to. That is where vulnerability comes in. And if you're afraid of being vulnerable, you can be vulnerable on your own. Who will know you're vulnerable? When you're in your house, when in your room, where you're just somewhere alone, who will know that you're vulnerable? You be vulnerable to yourself and call yourself out. Tell yourself call yourself out of all the mistakes that you've done. If you know that you have certain weaknesses, identify them and identify the strengths and be able to work on it, because that is the only way that you can be able to forgive yourself. When you're vulnerable, when you're able to connect with your emotions, when you're able to connect with yourself heart to heart. You see, the way you tell that guy you love him, or you tell that person, your friends, your child, that you love them, the same way, tell yourself that and open your heart to yourself. Call yourself out. And don't be afraid, because if you're afraid of calling yourself out, then that means you have a weakness in your here. Because if you don't call yourself out, if somebody else tries to call you out, then you're those kind of people who get angry when they're called out, and that is not way to progress. So call yourself out step by step. Be vulnerable with yourself. Call yourself out. Forgive yourself. Even if I don't know what you did. Hey, my goodness. I know we have so many. Even if you're standing, God goodness, I don't even know. If whatever that you did, or you have done, or you're still doing, forgive yourself for it. Only then that you'll have room to forgive others and live your life authentically and be able to begin this self-awareness journey and self-discovery in a more stable way, without any what are they called? Without any malicious reasons, just without following the crowd. Because when you forgive yourself, you find out these things, other people have gone through them, and did they die? You find that you realize that, and you're like, oh, did they die? No, they didn't. And maybe and you find those people are maybe the most successful, because they accepted themselves. And that is when you can be able to accept others anyway. You can't tell me that you love somebody else more than you love yourself. That is impossible. So try to forgive yourself, accept yourself, and be compassionate, be kind, be vulnerable, be loving to yourself, And the journey to self-awareness will be a walk in the park. Ask me about it. I'm doing it. There's some days that it's tough on us, and it's not easy. Everybody makes mistakes, and there are some days that it's tough, especially for me. There's some days that it's tough for me, when you feel like, oh my God, it's me again. It's like, oh goodness, yeah. So you feel like, oh my God, it's me again, and you just want to sit and cry and cry and cry. Let it out, feel it all. Then wake up and tell yourself, you got you. I got me. Nobody else got me. Okay? Because nobody else knows me better than I know me. Okay? So this is I told you today's episode is going to be a little touchy for me, because like I told you, in fact, I've never even told anybody that I have those daddy and mommy issues. So that is daddy and mommy wounds that I realized everybody has a mommy or a daddy wound. It's not only me. Imagine. I thought I was the only one who had daddy issues or mommy issues, but no. I'm not the only one. I'm not going to be the last one, but with my generation, I'm going to be the last one. And I want you to decide it for yourself as well. So many people are going through the same experiences as you, and so many people are choosing to become better from their situations. So many people are choosing their situations not to define them. So many people are choosing their experiences not to define them. So who are you to choose your experience to define you? Forgive yourself, begin the self-development journey, begin the self-discovery journey, and live the best life for yourself. Okay? Be just the best that you can. And the best that you can is not that you sleep today and tomorrow I'm the best version of myself. No. It has so many these ups and downs, but eventually we cope and we know how to do, and we manage ourselves. So work on yourself, guys. Become the best version of yourself, live authentically, and just embrace yourself. Okay, that's all for today. I hope you choose to forgive yourself so that you can build your self-esteem, so that you can build your self-worth, and you can be able to build a valuable life for yourself. This is all for today. I love you so much. To the new family members, welcome on board. I hope this episode will help you or will encourage you to begin that journey. And I'll see you at the top. Okay? So thank you so much, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.